It's time for our penultimate heat of the 2024 Rotax Max Challenge Golden Trophy. We turn our attention to DD2 and DD2 Masters. Here is your starting grid. Tommy van der Stroys will start from pole position ahead of Jules Cousin, with Martin van Leeuwen and Nico Hanke rounding out row 2. Frederik Zebbes and Jakob Bezel on row 3, with Mats Johan Overhoff and Kian de Brandt on row 4. Len Nys and Alex Vielenbach, who starts from DD2 Masters pole. Round out the top 10, Vincent van Kerkhoff and Mika van der Pava, Nicolas Guillaume, Imke Arts, Luca Neuenhausen, Christophe Capitain and Dominic Reuters round out the grid. So, post Heat 1, Luca Neuenhausen got a 5-second penalty for forcing another driver off the circuit, and 3 drivers picked up 5-second front bumper penalties, the first of which was Frederik Zebbes, and also Mika van der Pavat and Kian de Brandt. So once again, it will be 10 minutes plus an additional lap. We'll have our last race coming up. It's around about 2:30 local time this afternoon. Senior Rotax Heat 3, A versus B, and after that, the final intermediate classification for seniors will be completed, and the top 36 will continue to the top 36 final at 4 p.m. and 6 drivers will not take any further part. It's a bit brutal, but that is unfortunately part and parcel of racing. So Van Leeuwen and Vielenbach were the race winners in Heat 1. We are set and ready under starters' orders. Red lights on the gantry for DD2 and Masters Heat 2. Into the tram lines, revs rise, lights are on, lights are out. We're underway, and a good start once again by Tommy van der Stroys, but Jules Cousin trying to go to the outside. That was Frederik Zebbes that just sneaked through into second position. Nico Hanke has got 4:05 round the outside of Jakob Bezel from the Czech Republic. But Frederik Zebbes now through on Martin van Leeuwen and is now P2. He makes his way out of turn number 6. Imke Arts has made up a couple of places in the meantime, as Nico Hanke has Bezel up the inside through at turn number 7. Mats Johan Overhoff tried to go through as well, but Hanke quickly shut the door firmly, but not now, as Hanke goes very, very high and wide to the outside, turn number 9. And good afternoon, Brandon Klein-Nagelvoort. I'm so sad my goat, Sem Klofjes, isn't racing this weekend. Ah, well, there we go. He's in Dubai. I think he's in the UAE at some point, or probably in Muscat at the International UAE RMC at the minute, which is happening as we speak at the Muscat Speedway. So some opportunities here. That's the 458 of Kian de Brandt, who's moved up the order and has made up 3 places. He's got Mats Johan Overhoff now in front of him. Mika van der Pavat looking to try and maybe make a move, and that will be on Nico Hanke if he gets the opportunity to do so. And the door opens at turn number 8. Mika van der Pavat, just like a lot of drivers, you see all these different race helmets and you see the different colours. Well, Mika van der Pavat has Sonic the Hedgehog on his race helmet, so I think that nickname's going to stick. throughout all of his racing career if he keeps Sonic as his good luck charm on his race helmet. So, 7 3/4 minutes plus an additional lap remain in DD2 and DD2 Masters. So, Tommy van der Stroys is leading. Now, this is looking very much like what we saw in the opening heat, that van der Stroys after 2 laps was leading by a second. This time it's not Van Leeuwen, it's actually Frederik Zevis. Now, Kian de Brandt ahead of Mika van der Pavet. That is the battle for 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th, because Nico Handke and Vincent van Kerkhoff are there. And who is that behind them? That is more than that. Is going to be the 417, Len Nyes, who's been racing, well, mainly with the Rotax side of things. He has been mainly racing in the Euro Trophy this year. Vincent van Kerkhoven tries to get through on Nico Handke. You can't pull the wool over Nico Handke's eyes, especially at a turn like that. Now into turn number 10. The dry line is really evolving going through into turn 10. Mika van der Pavet tries to get through on Kian de Brandt through turn 11. De Brandt shuts the door. But Tommy van der Stroys, with 6.5 minutes to go, has a lead. And now, the lap evolution. We were running 1 minute 10s, we're now running 1 minute 7s. And Nico Handke gets his elbows out. And just keep your eyes on the 409. Tries to get through. Well, he got through back on Mika van der Pavet and also Vincent van Kerkhoven. Could have got a treble for the price of 1 overtake. And now he's done the switch back on Kian de Brandt. Len Nyes closing in on Mika van der Pavet. They've got Alex Fielenbach not too far behind in the 5-3-1. Alex still leading in the Masters classification. Christophe Capitan has got a car. Well, Christophe Capitan's about 1.2 seconds behind this year's German Rotax champion. Nico Handke has been dovetailing karting this year in DD2 alongside GT racing. And Nico Handke has made his way through the GT side of things. But with just under half of the race left to go, still plenty of opportunity for drivers to make moves up the order. Thereby, the more you move up the order, the more points you get towards your tally, thereby deciding the grid. However, we have a nice little battle here. Martin van Leeuwen versus Jules Cousin. And in the meantime, well, Frederik Zevis is closing that gap. Last time around, it was 9/10 of a second. After 4 laps, Jules Cousin trying to find a way past Martin van Leeuwen, but van Leeuwen knows and has battled against Jules Cousin for a number of years. You can see the dry line really starting to show on the outskirts into turns 1 and 2. So the evolution is quite clear. New fastest lap by Frederik Zevis, 1 minute 7.240. I don't think we're quite to that crossover point where someone might decide to do the old Jensen Button trick and try slicks on a wet track. But van der Stroy is quicker by nearly a 10th in comparison with Zevis on Sector 1. They're just about to break the timing beam for Sector 2. And van der Stroy goes purple, and he was 8/100ths quicker than Frederik Zevis. Zevis has been quickest of anybody this race in Sector 3. Now, van der Stroy, can he line up a fastest lap of the race? He's on course to do so if he goes purple across the board. And he does go in with a new fastest lap, a 1 minute 7.049. And Frederik Zevis has now dropped back. And there goes Jules Cousin up the inside, and Martin van Leeuwen through at turn 2. But, of course, you stumble a little bit sometimes by going deep on the racing line, under braking. And the person that you've just gone past has done the old classic cutback and has retaken the position. So with 2 3/4 minutes left to play, well, the way things are going to stand at the moment, it's more than likely going to be Tommy van der Stroys. If he picks up the win in this one, that'll put him on 94 points and put him on pole for the final at 3:40 p.m. local time. Martin van Leeuwen will probably end up alongside him on the front row. Jules Cousin, however, is trying to do what he can to get past the 4:01 from the Netherlands. As just looking down, well, from the multiple camera angles I have access to up here in the commentary position, that the senior drivers for Heat 3 A versus B are now in the tyre bay area and the pre-grid. So we're not that far away from completing this race and then waiting for what happens next. But there is Jules Cousin, who's dropped away from Martin van Leeuwen, and Jakob Bezel, the 4:05 from the Czech Republic, is right there with him down the Europelan into turn 7. Bezel still not able to get through on the man from France. Right, 5:04. Christophe Capitan has just been given a 5-second time penalty for pushing. And that will be added post-race for the man from France. A great little battle here. This is for 4th place on the road. Bezel has got the bit between his teeth. Cousin defiant to the last moment. But we have a minute to go, plus an additional lap in this DD2 and Masters final heat of the Golden Trophy. Van der Stroys on course. The lap times are really starting to kick in. 1 minute 6.584. New fastest lap by Denmark's Frederik Zebis in P2. Gap now between first and second is 1.2 seconds. But we will have this plus one additional lap, I think, based on the lap times. The lead is now coming through turn number 7 as the rest of the field make their way through onto the Europlan at T6. Still an opportunity, but finally Jakob Bezel has broken the deadlock. He's got through on Jules Cousin, and now he's going to start chasing after Martin van Leeuwen. Tommy van der Stroys out of the final corner will start the final lap of this second heat. Looks over his right shoulder, sees Frederik Zebis trying to close on in. Gap was 1.2. It is now 1.286. And a new fastest lap by van der Stroys, 1 minute 6.459. Van Leeuwen still in 3rd, Bezel 4th, Cousin 5th. And Fielenbach running in 11th. He's going to have more. He's going to be quite happy. Okay, yes, he's one of 2 drivers in the Masters class, but he is leading. Capitan's got a 5-second time penalty, but our leaders make their way through out of turn number 8 and now 9 for the last time. You can see there's a definitive drier part of the circuit. But it is going to be a second, but it's more importantly going to be a win. He's been on pole position for both heats, and provisionally he comes out of the final corner, and Tommy van der Stroys wins heat 2 and provisionally puts himself on pole for the final. Frederik Zebis takes 2nd. 3rd, Martin van Leeuwen. 4th, Jakob Bezel. 5th, Jules Cousin. 6th is going to be Germany's Nico Handke. Mats Johan Overhoff pips Vincent van Kerkhoffen to 7th at the flag. Len Nys finishes in 9th ahead of Mika van der Bavert. Alex Fielenbach finishes in 11th with Christophe Capitan, who's set to get his 5-second time penalty added very shortly, which will put him 15th behind Luca Neuenhausen. So Kian de Brandt, Nicolas Guillaume and Luca Neuenhausen will occupy places 12 to 14. Capitan will drop to 15th with Imke Arts and Dominic Reuters all making it to the end. So Van der Stroys with a 2nd and a 1st provisionally books himself a place on pole position in the final. with Fehlenbach doing the double in Masters here at Genk.